Welcome to my garden. It's looking very sad, but if you don't have a garden yet and you're thinking that you'd like to have one, now is the perfect time to be getting ready. Today I'm going to share my 5 top crops for first-time gardeners, the things that I think everyone should start with, and hopefully it'll give you that kickstart, have a good season, and to keep growing into the years that follow. The very first thing that I think every first-time gardener should grow is radishes. Radishes are incredibly easy. You put them into the ground at pretty much any time of the year, and within 30 days you got something to harvest. They grow so fast that you don't have to deal with a lot of pest issues, and they give you that quick burst of confidence to really get you started. The second crop that I recommend is to get a zucchini plant. Everyone always complains about the fact there's just so many zucchinis they don't know what to do with, and for that reason, perfect thing to have in your first time garden. They're so prolific that even if your plant struggles, there's a good chance that it'll still produce lots for you, and it'll be fun to go out there and every day check and see if you have new squash on the vine or not. The third plant that I would have in my first time garden is Swiss chard. The reason why I would grow Swiss chard is that it's fairly versatile. It's not my favorite. It's nothing I ever would have bought, but I do grow it every year. It's simple to grow. It doesn't have the same issues that lettuce has where it bolts. It's something that you can plant at the beginning of the season and it'll grow all year. You don't have to be too concerned about it. You can get a continuous harvest, and that makes it super satisfying. I considered recommending kale instead of Swiss chard just because kale's a little bit more trendier, a little bit more fun for some people, but I still am gonna say Swiss chard is the one. For me personally, my kale has some pest issues, whereas Swiss chard, I've never really had a hard time with it, and I know other people have a lot of success. So give it a try. Even if you've never eaten it, I would put it in my first time garden. For number 4, I would recommend bush beans. Now, I'm being specific about bush beans rather than beans in general because bush beans don't need any sort of trellising. So you don't need to build any sort of structure. It's something that you can just grow. I love fresh green beans. There's few things that I love more, and it's another one of those ones where you get to go out every day and check on them, and they give you that boost of confidence that sometimes you need as a gardener. So I love bush beans. Another fun thing about beans is if you mess up and you don't pick your beans in time and they get a little bit too big, you can leave them on the plant, and then you get the fun of seeing how the bean seeds are grown. You just leave them until they dry out, and that can be a fun experiment for a first-time gardener too. The final thing that I would recommend growing is a cherry tomato. And I'm being specific about it being a cherry tomato instead of just any sort of tomato, because tomatoes can be difficult to grow depending on where you are. There's lots of soil diseases like blight that can make it so your plants just die right when the tomatoes are forming. So the cherry tomato should give you that satisfaction of actually getting a couple fruit off of the plant, even if it does die in the end. And I mean, let's be honest, the whole point of having a garden is being able to get those things that are super exciting, and there's few things that I find more exciting than cherry tomatoes. And after you've had homegrown, fresh from the plant tomatoes, you'll never go back. So I highly recommend to start in that first year with a cherry tomato plant, because the sooner you can perfect your tomato growing technique, the happier you're gonna be as a gardener in the long run. It's kind of the end game for a lot of us. I'm not being specific about varieties of plants to grow, just the type of plant to grow, because I think honestly when it's your first time having a garden, the variety doesn't matter quite as much as just learning how to grow the plant itself. So if you are getting your seeds from a dollar store, someone's given your seeds to you and you don't really know, that's fine. That's a great place to start. start, because a lot of the learning curve is just learning to remember to water, how much water it needs, where to plant it, how to get out there and pick it in time. And so don't stress too much about variety. Honestly, if you're looking at seed catalogs right now, trying to figure out where to even begin, for me, a good spot to start for varieties is to look for the cheapest one. Quite often something is the cheapest because it's the easiest. Because the easier it is to grow, the easier it is to get seeds off of it. So when you're picking up stuff and it's super affordable, honestly, I think that's a great way. That's a great way to get started on your very first garden. So if you're here because this is your first time gardening, welcome. This year is going to be my first time farming, so I totally understand where you all are coming from when it comes to learning curve, because there is a lot to learn about this stuff. I have a playlist going that just has some quick, easy tips for if you're starting your very first garden, so make sure to check that out, and I will see you guys next time.